Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top stories of the day. Supreme Court expresses concern over pollution situation in Delhi NCR. Summons Chief Secretaries of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. Instructs Centre to prepare blueprint for setting up air purifying tower in Delhi. Government withdraws draft on amendments in the Forest Act 1927. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar says the Modi government is committed to protecting the rights of tribals and forest dwellers. Government to bring legislation on raising insurance cover on bank deposits from the current 1 lakh rupees. Also mulls law to regulate multi-state cooperative banks in its bid to increase trust of bank account holders. CBI sets up special unit to fight child pornography. Will identify and monitor the online activities of persons browsing and downloading child pornography. And 250th session of Rajya Sabha from 18th November to be special in more ways than one. Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma says Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu to release special issue with articles by former MPs and constitutional experts on 26th November. The Supreme Court on Friday summoned Chief Secretaries of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi to know about steps taken by them to reduce air pollution in the Delhi NCR region. The Supreme Court said effective steps must be taken and 13 pollution hotspots in Delhi should be cleared of pollutants. The Apex Court questioned the Delhi government over granting exemptions during its odd-even scheme and said that pollution level in Delhi is increasing in spite of the vehicle rationing scheme being enforced. It also expressed concern that despite reduction in stubble burning, pollution levels in Delhi are worse. The Delhi government told the top court that its odd-even scheme has helped in reducing pollution and the real culprit behind the region's pollution is stubble burning. The centre also told the bench that it is examining feasibility of putting up smoke towers to reduce pollution in the National Capital Region. And citizens of Delhi continue to breathe toxic air once again on Friday as the air quality index was recorded more than 450. The air quality of Delhi and the surrounding cities remained in the severe category for the fourth consecutive day. Meanwhile, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said the odd-even scheme in Delhi will not be extended for now. The road rationing scheme that began on 4th November for 12 days ended on Friday.
The air quality in the national capital remained in the severe category for the fourth consecutive day on Friday. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the air quality index was recorded at 466 at 11:30 am as a thick layer of toxic smog enveloped the city, leaving scores of people with a sore throat, itchy eyes and dry cough. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that joint cooperation of all agencies is needed to fix the issue. He said the centre is very serious about the issue of pollution and for the first time it has recognized the concept of air shade.
CB के ये है टोलिया जो घूम रही है और रोज के रोज तुरंत रिपोर्ट करती रहती है, तो ऐसे सब मिलके काम करना चाहिए। ये कंसेप्ट लाया और उसको किया। मैंने हमेशा ये कहा है कि ये विषय सबने मिलकर काम करने का है, सबने सहयोग से काम करना है। एक दूसरे को दोष देने का ये वक्त भी नहीं है और ये काम ऐसा है नहीं। राजनीति के लिए 50 विषय होते हैं।
Meanwhile, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said a final call on extending the odd-even scheme would be taken on Monday, depending on the air quality in Delhi.
हम नहीं चाहते कि ज़बरदस्ती दिल्ली के लोगों के ऊपर कोई किसी तरह की कठिनाई थोपी जाए, तो अभी भी हम लोग नज़र बनाए हुए हैं। कल और परसों का और हम देखेंगे, अगर हवा में सुधार होता है तो फिर ऑड इवन की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। अदरवाइज सोमवार को फिर सुबह सुबह हम लोग इस पे निर्णय लेके और तुरंत इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने की सोचेंगे।
Apart from Delhi, the air quality index of the adjoining areas of Ghaziabad, Faridabad, Noida, Gurugram and other have also shown a deteriorating air quality as they fall under the severe category. Leena Sharma's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in a bid to reduce Parliament's carbon footprint, Chairman Rajya Sabha M. Venkaiah Naidu inspected the e-vehicles in the Parliament complex. The newly procured e-vehicles will provide transport facility to members of the upper house. My colleague Navvikram Singh brings us this report.
In a bid to reduce carbon emissions, the Rajya Sabha Secretariat has decided to include electric cars in the fleet of Parliament House vehicles. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu inspected the fleet of e-vehicles in the Parliament complex on Friday. Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Parma flagged off the newly procured e-vehicles for providing transport facility to members of Rajya Sabha.
NCR क्षेत्र में जो आज प्रदूषण की स्थिति है और पूरे विश्व में जो क्लाइमेट चेंज का प्रभाव आ रहा है, उसको देखते हुए ये लगता है कि जो हमारे अल्टरनेट सोर्सेज ऑफ एनर्जी हैं, उन पर बेस्ड और सारी एक्टिविटीज़ को हमें बहुत बढ़ाने की ज़रूरत है। और इस दिशा में राज्यसभा सचिवालय ने आज अपनी फ्लीट में 2 इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स को जोड़ करके ये एक कदम इस ओर बढ़ाया है।
These electric cars will be used as part of the fleet of vehicles used to provide transport services to MPs. A decision on increasing the number of e-vehicles in the fleet will be considered in the future.
सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि इन इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स का कंजम्पशन बहुत कम है और ये जो इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स हैं, इसके चार्जिंग स्टेशंस राज्यसभा के पार्लियामेंट के प्रीमाइसेस के अंदर ही बने हुए हैं, जहां पर ये चार्जिंग भी इसकी हो सकती है। और हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि आने वाले समय में हम इसको और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल करके प्रदूषण के विरुद्ध जो पूरा विश्व का संघर्ष है और देश का संघर्ष है, उसमें हम अपनी भागीदारी निभा सकेंगे।
The government made major announcements for pushing electric mobility in India as part of the Union Budget 2019. The GST rate on electric vehicles was brought down from the 12% to 5% in a bid to push the sale of EVs in the country. In addition, there is income tax deduction of 1.5 lakh rupees on the interest paid on the loans taken to purchase electric vehicles. Navvikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The winter session of Parliament will begin on 18th November, and this will be a special one as it is the 250th session of the Rajya Sabha. To mark the occasion, special events have also been planned. Rajya Sabha is set to mark its historic 250th session. The journey of the upper house and its importance will be discussed on the first working day of the 250th session.
ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है। हमारे राज्यसभा में कुल 250 सीटें हैं, ऑथराइज सीटें हैं, और ये हमारा 250वां सेशन है। तो इस हिसाब से ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण सत्र है हमारा, और इस सत्र को हम उसी ढंग से इस बार सेलिब्रेट करने वाले हैं। इस सेलिब्रेशन की शुरुआत जो राज्यसभा का प्रथम दिवस होगा सेशन का, उस दिन इस राज्यसभा के महत्व में, उसकी भूमिका और आने वाले कार्यों में और क्या सुधार इसमें लाया जा सकता है, इस पर एक चर्चा रखी गई है जिसमें सभी माननीय सदस्यगण भाग ले सकेंगे।
A special issue too has been prepared containing articles written by MPs, former MPs and constitutional experts, which will be released by Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on 26th November. The day also coincides with the 70th anniversary of the adoption of the Indian Constitution by the Constituent Assembly. A commemorative coin of 250 rupees and postage stamps too will be released by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
इस अवसर पर एक कमेमोरेटिव कॉइन और एक कमेमोरेटिव स्टैम्प हम निकालने जा रहे हैं, जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी द्वारा संभावना है कि दिसंबर के प्रथम सप्ताह में उसको रिलीज़ करके और उसकी प्रथम जो प्रति होगी वो हमारे अध्यक्ष माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी को वो सौंपेंगे।
While the Lok Sabha is dissolved either every 5 years or earlier to elect a new house, the Rajya Sabha is a continuous house. Its first session was held in May 1952. With inputs from Panchanan Mishra, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs met on Friday in the Parliament House complex. The committee held discussions on current situation in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the two newly formed union territories. Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla and Additional Secretary of Jammu and Kashmir gave a detailed presentation before the committee. The committee also discussed the current situation in the two new union territories, including the release of political leaders there, the restoration of internet services, and factual information about the situation there. And on to some other news now. After attending the BRICS summit in Brazil, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will reach Delhi tonight. In a Twitter message, the Prime Minister described the just concluded BRICS summit in Brazil's capital, Brasilia, as very productive. He also said during the summit, BRICS leaders had fruitful dialogues on cementing ties in trade, innovation, technology, and culture. Remember, the Prime Minister had reached Brasilia on Wednesday to take part in the two-day BRICS summit. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar on Friday announced that the government has withdrawn the draft on amendments in the Forest Act 1927. He stressed that the Narendra Modi government was committed to protect the rights of tribals and forest dwellers. Javadekar highlighted that the draft was not officially prepared by the union government.
आदिवासी कानून बदलने का सरकार का कोई भी इरादा नहीं है अभी, और हम ये जो एक ड्राफ्ट के कारण एक गलत फहमी तैयार हुई कि जैसे सरकार का कोई इरादा है और ये सरकार का ड्राफ्ट था, ऐसा था नहीं। लेकिन ये 4 बार बताने के बावजूद भी हमने ये पाया कि ये गलत फहमियाँ जो कि त्यों बरकरार रहती है, और इसलिए आज हम इस जो ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलेट हुआ था स्टेक होल्डर्स के दरमियान, वो हम विड्रॉ कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि फॉरेस्ट एक्ट में ऐसा कोई बदलाव करने की अभी कल्पना नहीं है।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said on Friday that the government is considering proposals on raising insurance cover on bank deposits from the current 1 lakh rupees and also regulating multi-state cooperative banks. She added the new legislations in this regard will be brought during the winter session of Parliament beginning Monday. At present, bank depositors get an insurance cover of 1 lakh rupees on their amount by the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. Meanwhile, speaking on the current telecom sector stress, the Finance Minister said the government does not want any company to shut their operations. 2 major telecom companies, Vodafone India and Airtel, have posted a combined quarterly loss of about 74,000 crore rupees as they were hit by statutory dues after a recent Supreme Court ruling. The Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, the CBIC, on Friday clarified that salaries are not subject to GST, and no GST has been demanded on salaries paid to CEOs or employees. In a statement, CBIC said that the media report in this regard, alleging that tax authorities want to impose GST on salaries paid to employees, is factually incorrect and misrepresents tax authorities. It further emphasized that the GST law position, which clearly states that the salaried services by an employee to the employer shall be treated neither as a supply of goods nor as a supply of services. It also said that in this regard, no notice has been issued to any companies demanding GST on salaries whatsoever. And the Central Bureau of Investigation has set up an online child sexual abuse and exploitation prevention and investigation unit at New Delhi under its Special Crime Investigation Wing. The focus of this specialized unit is to counter the growing menace of child pornography on the internet. The unit will collect information about people who allegedly create, promote, and transmit information related to online child sexual abuse and exploitation. In addition, the unit will also monitor people who browse and download such material. These crimes will be covered under provisions of the Indian Penal Code, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences of the POCSO Act, and the Information Technology Act. The Delhi Development Authority has provided a major relief to 50,000 shop owners in Delhi. It dropped conversion charges in 100 top markets and also relaxed norms for household industrial units in residential areas. The civic body, in a meeting chaired by Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal on Thursday, also approved converting 81 rural villages into urban villages and raising limit of amalgamation of land plots from earlier 64 square meters to 200 square meters. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar termed the decision as a huge relief for over 50,000 shop owners in the national capital. Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar said on Friday that to safeguard the interest of workers in the formal sector, particularly working class, the centre is planning to introduce One Nation, One Payday system. While addressing a Security Leadership Summit 2019, the minister said Prime Minister Narendra Modi is keen on this legislation to get passed soon. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday released the book Savarkar, Echoes from a Forgotten Past, which is written by Dr. Vikram Sampath. In his address at the book launch, the Vice President spoke about the life and times of Veer Savarkar. He said Savarkar was a great freedom fighter, social reformer, political thinker, and a leader. Naidu also mentioned the exemplary role and innumerable sacrifices that Savarkar made for the cause of the country's freedom. He further added that even today, Savarkar's vision and thoughts play an important role in the upliftment of society.
His far-sighted vision of India's future development is truly remarkable. He had remarked the era that our country is now entering is the one that Europe has entered 2 centuries ago. This means we are 200 years behind Europe. This scientific temper is the foundation and cornerstone of the machine age and modernization, which will lead to prosperity for India. It is through science, modern thoughts and industrialization that we can ensure that every man, woman in India will have a job to do, food to eat, clothes to wear, and happy life to lead. The books by Dr. Sampath brings out these remarkable visionary ideas of Savarkar in a very compelling manner.
The Vice President also congratulated Vikram Sampath for his efforts to compile Savarkar's life and message in a well-researched and well-written book. He said Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar was an extraordinary personality and therefore writing a book on him is a commendable step.
Veer Savarkar ji was a multi-dimensional personality. A freedom fighter, social reformer, writer, poet, historian, political leader and philosopher, all combined into one, all in one. That is the life of सावरकर जी. जीवन वृत्त लिखना आसान नहीं है, विशेषकर सावरकर जी जैसा महान और विवादित व्यक्ति का जीवन वृत्त लिखना अब प्राय पूर्वाग्रह के प्रभाव में आ जाते हैं या तो अनावश्यक रूप में आलोचना करने लगते हैं या फिर व्यक्ति निष्ठा हो जाते हैं. In this background, he did a splendid work after deep study in a realistic manner, in an objective manner, to make the younger generation and also the future generation of the country to know proper perspective of this great son of this great country.
A team of 48 members from Ladakh, including school children, teachers and villagers, along with Indo-Tibetan border police personnel, met President Ramnath Kovind on Friday in Delhi. The ITBP, under the Civic Action Program, organizes such programs to connect people from border and Naxal-affected areas to the mainstream. During the 10-day tour, this team will also visit Jodhpur. The finalists for the Global Cooling Prize competition were announced on Friday at an award ceremony held in Delhi. The event was organized by the Government of India together with Rocky Mountain Institute. The competition focused on developing a self-sufficient and climate-friendly residential cooling solution that would provide access to cooling without warming the planet. Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurated the award ceremony, and in his address, the minister said, in fact, he emphasized on the need for cooling solutions across the world. He also mentioned that he is privileged to have been part of developing and realizing the India Cooling Action Plan.
The world today needs an extremely efficient cooling technology, a solution that can sustainably meet the comfort cooling needs of our growing populations without contributing to runaway climate change or costly stresses on already burdened electricity systems. Like India, which is on the path of economic growth and has relatively low penetration of air conditioning.
And in a related context, let's get you another story related to climate change and environment. The latest report by the Lancet journal says that children born in India will be particularly vulnerable to greater health risks due to climate change. With shrinking harvests due to rising temperatures, threatening food security and increasing food prices, children across the globe will be worst affected by malnutrition and health problems like stunted growth, weak immune systems, and long-term developmental problems. With increasing pollution, they will also be particularly susceptible to infectious diseases, lung-related diseases, and increased risk of heart attacks and stroke. Unless some serious action is taken now, by the time children reach higher stages in their lives, they will face increased risk from severe floods, prolonged droughts, and wildfires, as the world will be at least 4 degrees warmer than now. The Central Bureau of Investigation on Friday conducted raids at the Amnesty International Group offices in Delhi and Bengaluru in connection with violation of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Amnesty International Group is accused of obtaining foreign funds in violation of the law. However, the group says it stands in full compliance with Indian and international law. Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju on Friday called for collective efforts from the centre as well as the states in making India a fit nation and help build a sporting culture in the country. He made the appeal during his inaugural address at the Conference of Ministers and Secretaries of the states and union territories in charge of youth affairs and sports on Friday. The Home Minister also called upon the states to sync their activities with the centre's programs. I beg your pardon, the Sports Minister. Meanwhile, Sports Secretary Radheshyam Julania also called for creating a new culture that encourages sports.
स्पोर्ट्स कल्चर जो बनाने का जो बात है वो एक बेस बनेगा। इस देश में ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, मेरा ये पक्का मानना है हमेशा कि अगर आप मेडल लाते हैं तो सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, तो इट्स नेचुरल दैट यू विन मेडल फॉर इंडिया, द होल कंट्री सेलिब्रेट। लेकिन उसका क्या होगा जो मेडल नहीं जीत पाया? हम तो उसको तो पैसे राशि तो देते नहीं क्योंकि मेडल नहीं जीता, कोई पूछता नहीं। हाउ विल वी क्रिएट स्पोर्ट्स कल्चर इन द कंट्री? पॉलिसी सोचना चाहिए हर राज्य को कि स्पोर्ट्स का जॉब में क्या हो सकते हैं।
Sports Secretary Radheshyam Julania said that the ministry is trying to make world-class facilities available for sportsmen and also plans on giving them jobs in government and non-government sectors for better financial support.
स्कूल एजुकेशन बोर्ड, स्कूल गेम्स एजुकेशन बोर्ड बनाने का निर्णय हुआ है। उसकी क्या रूपरेखा हो, किस तरह से स्कूल एजुकेशन स्पोर्ट्स बोर्ड बने। जितने भी हमने संपत्ति क्रिएट की है, स्टेडियम बनाए हैं, उसका 80% हम उपयोग नहीं कर रहे हैं, 10 से 15% उपयोग हो रहा है। हमारे जो स्टेडियम बनाते हैं वो हम इतने बड़े बनाते हैं कि उसमें ताले लगा करके 16 से 20 लोग उसकी चौकीदारी के लिए हमें रखना पड़ते हैं, और खिलाड़ियों के लिए एक्सेस देने की बजाय वो एक्सेस को हम काट देते हैं। तो किस दिशा में हम चलें, जब विस्तार से इसमें बात करेंगे।
And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you very much for your time.